Okay, it's a Saturday morning, and where I am is almost 10 o'clock. I usually do not walk so late, but today was the day, good morning, to give myself a little bit of extra sleep. And I hope that everybody else who is in a different time zone is having an earlier time, so you can still walk before everything else in the day starts. And welcome to my walking club, Forrest Gump sort of inspiration. I am not walking around the world, I'm walking around my neighborhood in Florida. And everybody in my neighborhood who was sitting at home before now is getting out. Every day I walk, I see more and more people from my neighborhood walking. It is not necessarily my doing, but it also might be my doing. Because some of them told me that they saw me walking and they remembered they haven't walked for a while. So I've started this club for myself, but I don't like to be alone on my road. Even though my neighbors are still walking somewhere out there, I want to walk with my friends. And every day I randomly tag people. So if you've been tagged, the universe put my finger down the page and you got touched. So if you're not walking with me right this moment, maybe later on you will see it and you will start walking. Why walking is so important? Our body is very ancient. Our mind is not as ancient. And our ancient body is an animal. It's like a dog. It needs to be trained. And sometimes life gets in, priorities, too many goals we set up, take away from the most important goal is to survive and to thrive. People who do not move enough throughout the day, which are the people of intellectual work, computers, everybody, people who like to play games, people who like to work on the computer, people who don't like to work on the computer, but they do. All kinds of people who are sitting throughout the day, we cannot possibly move enough. Even if throughout the day we move 1 hour, 2 hours, it's still not enough. If you think about the ancient body that we have, it's been running around, hunting, protecting itself, finding the place to sleep at night. Those ancient habits have been there for millennia. And recently, only recently, maybe a century ago, 2 centuries at most, we finally got to the point where we switch on the light and we have a sunshine in our home, even outside is darkness. We go to the store, we will put things in the refrigerator, and we're set for a week. We don't need to hunt for the food. Some people eat raw food, but most of the people eat cooked food. So what it means is our teeth do not need to chew that much. We protect our eyes with the sunglasses. We protect our body with the clothes. We sleep on a soft mattress. Even if it's a firm mattress, it's still pretty soft. So every time we give more comfort to the body, we take away the survival mechanism that's been there forever. With every year of us looking for comfort, we find more and more discomfort. What it means, our joints are not lubricated. Our eyes are not as sharp. Our teeth are also not as sharp. We cannot chew things. We go to the dentist and they give us artificial teeth, which might not be as comfortable, by the way. We do not move enough, where our joints do not work well, and we replace our joints with artificial things. And we use ChatGPT for our brain, instead of our brain. So even if we didn't learn how to spell correctly, even if we didn't learn how to calculate correctly, the ChatGPT does it for us. And so pretty soon, even this part of our body is not going to have enough muscle to work for itself. So we can live comfortably for a little bit and then have very uncomfortable life when the brain does not work, which means the hormones, messengers, do not properly, and our body does not obey our thought anymore. I'm not working with the grim picture in my mind of how things would be if I don't walk. I set up a wish, a goal, a dream that I live long enough to enjoy my body. And the second dream, or the first dream, is I train my body like a dog so it obeys me, so it doesn't give up on me and doesn't run away from me when I'm 100 or 130 or however long God gives me. So it is my responsibility. It's not doctor's responsibility. It's not my children's responsibility to take care of my destroyed body. It's not a nursing home responsibility to keep me alive when my brain is no longer working and I don't remember who I am. It is my responsibility. And just like when you travel to Paris or to France, to Italy or to Spain or wherever you want to travel, you start planning for the travel, right? You decide where exactly do you want to go. You put out the route. You decide on the tickets. You buy the tickets. You order. You book your hotels, and then you arrive and you feel great. It's the same thing with our life journey. But sometimes we think much more about a vacation, which is like a week, once in 3 months maybe. I don't know. I vacation every month. I live on vacation. This is my life. It's a sunny state with the ocean 10 minutes away. Yes, we have hurricanes once in a while, but it's a small price to pay for the vacationing every day of your life. But let's say in my previous life, a year ago, I lived in Illinois, and from Illinois I would go on vacation monthly or once a week. And I would spend time. I will spend a week, a couple weeks planning that vacation, thinking about every detail, how I want things to be out there. I even use some travel agents so they can give me a better advice of how I will feel when I arrive. Well, so if it's 12 weeks out of a year, it's 3 months out of a year. And the rest of the months, the rest 9 months, we just live. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever doesn't happen, doesn't happen. And so year after year after year after year, the accumulation of this not very responsible, because responsibility is about response to something that's happening in your life right this moment. So not being very responsible, we arrive the next year and the year after with some results, which we kind of look at and we say, we didn't expect that. Yes, so if you don't book the hotel in France, for example, and you arrive and you don't have a hotel in the tourist season, you might not have the place to sleep. Unexpected result? No, it is expected. You know that you need to book things in advance. So we can book the nursing homes right now to take care of us. We can teach our children to take care of you, change your diapers when you are not able to do it on your own. Or you can train your own body to do that. You can train your body to be congruent, to live with integrity, and moving every day is part of it. Eating properly is also part of it. Chewing things that are hard to chew is part of it. And chewing things that are hard to chew, not only literally, but metaphorically as well. So learning things every day, learning something new is extremely important. When you're a very little child, within the first year, 2 years, you learn the amount of information that is incomparable to anything else you learn in the future. Because in the future, you learn information that is not necessarily for your survival. It's just knowledge of how things work, for example, about electricity, or about how the water moves in the world, or about mechanical things. So whether you know it or not, it doesn't affect your survival. But what you learn when you're a very young child is about your survival. How to talk, how to communicate, how to get things that you want, what are the mechanisms of getting things that you want, how to bring comfort into your existence, how to make yourself valuable to people, because you're not valuable, nobody will take care of you. Why do you think little children are so cute and they smile and you melt in front of them and do whatever they want? It's exactly that, survival mechanism. Then how to get from one place to another. For the little child, it's a big deal. They drive, they crawl, then they walk, then they run, then they jump. So all of this very important, extremely valuable life-surviving, life-supporting skills are being learned in very early childhood. But of course, if we protect the children and we don't let them do anything by themselves, they learn that there are other people who will take care of them. And then we look at our children and we go like, why can't they do that? Why don't they know that? It's exactly why. Because we decide to live their life instead of them. So as I'm looking into all the communications that I have with the people I love, and my clients that I also love, and my teachers that I also love, my co-creators that I always love to co-create with. When I look into all those communications, more and more I discover that there are competencies that we absolutely need to integrate in our life in order to survive. Those are the competencies that we naturally have from the day of birth. But because we live in society and because our life is extremely comfortable, even when it's uncomfortable, you can compare your life with the life of people in the third world countries, and you will see the difference. There are movies about how people live in countries hit by war, by famine, but not enough water. Also hurricanes, of course, and all natural disasters. When people do not have means to restore things as soon as we can do it, when they don't have services of other people, for which I'm extremely grateful, seeing how fast after the hurricane the space is cleaned up and the houses are restored and everybody lives normal life. This is a blessing. And being grateful is one of the important competencies, because very often we are in life because we always see the goal in front of us, and that goal is not accomplished yet. But we forget to look how many steps we already walked and how many things we already accomplished, and give yourself a moment to celebrate that. Because in order for the little child to even grow, somebody does have to take care of that child. And in order for us to move forward, somebody has to teach us. And we have to be in the position of the student. And then in order for us to be a valuable member of society, we do need to share what we know in whatever capacity you can. What I'm doing right now, walking and talking, I'm doing for me, but I'm also doing it for you. Because some people haven't been walking. And I received a lot of messages about it, that as I start talking, people start walking, and because I'm talking, they're not paying attention so much on how hard it is to walk or how boring it is to walk. And they start walking, and every day they walk more and more and more. So as you're walking, the energy that is like a sleeping dragon is at the coccyx, at the bottom of your spine. It starts moving because your legs are moving, because the energy is being created to move. Everything starts moving in the body. So first the blood starts moving, the circulation gets better. The energy is electricity. The organs start working more optimally because they're being charged by the movement you're creating. And then the blood goes up all the way to the head, and it rejuvenates the brain. And as you're walking outside, hopefully you are, if you live in a cold climate, just dress up and go out, put some hat so you are not cold, and let the fresh, crispy air go through your nose, and breathe with your nose, not with your mouth, because nose is equipped to handle cold temperature and dust and all of that. And as you do, the oxygenated blood goes into your brain, and your brain starts letting go of this circular, the thought that run and run and run on its own automatically. When you walk outside, pay attention to what you see, and be grateful for what you see, because some people cannot see. And be grateful for what you hear, because some people cannot hear. Some people cannot walk. Some people are breathing from the ventilators or the oxygen tanks. So as you are moving, be grateful for your body to be able to move, to be able to wake up, and to be able to see the beauty of the world wherever you are. Why am I saying that? Because I used to sit in my house 7 months out of the year, just because it's been cold. And I used to go to gym where the smell is not necessarily very pleasing to exercise. I've been teaching Zumba, and the requirement of the Zumba teaching is that music is really loud and you don't talk to the people. And the first thing I've done is I broke this rule, because I believe loud sound, and especially the loud sound in the your earbuds, which we often do these days, goes directly to your mind. Music is the rhythm. Music is a vibration. It's a frequency. It's an electricity of the sound that goes directly to your brain. So some people listen to beautiful music. Some people listen to rap. Some people listen to some swearing words. Some people are listening to romantic words. Some people listen to tango. Everybody has their own preferences. But if you do it repeatedly, it's like repeated thought. It becomes part of your nature, and your brain entrains with those sounds. There is also brainwave music. The brain has natural waves: alpha, beta, stress, gamma, delta, theta. Those different waves create different states in the body. So alpha is a creative state. When you're waking up or falling asleep, you start seeing dreams, you start thinking about something, maybe dreaming about something. Those are the states in which you become very creative. If you are painting, like I am sometimes, you get into this alpha state naturally. And then there is beta state in which you drive the car, unless you go to stress, if that boss does not know how to communicate properly. And then you have delta and theta are the healing waves in which you fall asleep deeply and deeply, and you are able to commune with God within yourself in higher frequency, are awakening and healing your body. And rapid eye movement shows up that you are, like when you're going with your eyes like that you are in the theta state. And then, of course, there is gamma. Gamma is the state which is like alpha, but much higher frequency, in which you can create more and faster. So when I measured my frequencies, I realized I live in gamma a lot. That's why I talk fast, sometimes too fast. And I like to realize things right away. The ideas come very fast. And to bring yourself to gamma, you can also do it with the breathing. Or you can find on YouTube brainwave frequencies music and entrain your brain at least for a few minutes with the higher frequencies, instead of always listening to the same repetitive music that you already like, which charges your brain with the frequency of that music. So musicians are also different people with different competencies, with different dreams, with different afflictions, and whatever they have, they translate through their music. The struggles they have in life, romantic situations they have in life, The healing, the illness, all of it comes to the rhythm of the music, to the frequency of the music and vibration that are being translated into your brain directly when you're listening in your headphones. So be careful with that. Give your brain a little bit of the rest. It also goes for the children or young adults, or even if you're older, who like to play the games. Did you notice how many wonderful, amazing, educational, not so educational games are now on the market, free? You can enter for free, and you become dependent on it because it's interesting, because it's communication with other people. But did you notice, like, it always has this beep, 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 this kind of sound? It's also frequency. It's also frequency that is not very beneficial for your brain, whether you are in headphones protecting other people from this beeping, or you are listening without headphones. Those are frequencies that are entraining you and making you codependent with games. They also create adrenaline explosion, cortisol explosion in your body. Adrenals work very hard, harder than they need to work, and whatever amount of adrenaline you have from that exposure, when you kill something on the screen, it's like you're killing it in life, because your brain is really communicating with the screen as if it's a real life. Our brain works in pictures, so pictures of something being killed and exploded are normalized in our brain as a normal effect. That's why we see so much violence, by the way, in the world, because people do not see the difference in their subconscious mind between killing on the screen and killing outside of the screen. So all of that visual effect plus the beeping sound or repetitive sound. Even Ozma, a wonderful game that I love, has the repetitive sound, which entrains your brain in things that are not really very healthy. So when you go outside and you hear the wind, you hear the waves of the ocean, you listen to the leaves talking together, your brain is trained to the natural frequency of the earth. The Schumann resonance, if you didn't hear about it, go and Google. Schumann resonance is the natural resonance, the natural vibration of the earth. And as you are walking outside, you entrain with the earth, with the frequency of the earth, which is rising. It has been 7.5 hertz for many thousand years. Right now, we're in Aquarian age, and the measurements are being done that show that the Schumann resonance is fluctuating between 30 and 50 right this moment. And on the emotional scale, and you can look at the emotional scale again on Google, emotional scale. It's the frequencies of every emotion and how it affects your body and your life. So 30 to 50 is the frequency of fear going to the frequency of anger. And the earth is trying to push through those frequencies to the frequency of desire, the frequency of action. You know how sometimes you think and you dream and you want things to be done, and then that dream doesn't go anywhere. Or you take a notebook and you write down all your goals for the next year, all your desires, and nothing happens with that. Because we sometimes do not have enough energy for the action. And we lose the energy when we criticize ourselves or others, when we talk about others, with the blame, shame, sometimes envy, sometimes fear, sometimes anger. And to raise your own frequency, all you need to do is to get to the frequency of interest. How do I do it? When I see something out of sorts, I ask myself, I say to myself, how interesting. Why is it happening? What is in it for me? What is the story I'm seeing? As if I'm seeing it on a screen, TV screen, and learning about it as a scientist. And when I switch on my interest button, I start seeing connections that I normally don't see. And these connections are easily available for the structured mind. So in every broadcast so far, I was talking about 9 universal laws, 9 universal qualities, 9 way of thinking, 9 way of policies, 9 ways to accumulate karma through the actions we do or inaction, 9 ways to understand what your proper orientation is, who are you, what your realization is about, the 9 ways to relate to people, the 9 ways to create relationships. Those are 9 competences that are natural laws, and those 9 competences help us resolve situations of life which seem unresolvable. So yesterday, if you didn't hear my broadcast, go listen. I was talking about 9-year cycle, and throughout 9-year cycle, the energy of the year supports your body in doing something particular. So we all have 9-year cycles throughout the collective consciousness. We as an Earth live in those 9-year cycles. But you also have personal 9-year cycles that depends on the date of your birth. But up to 14-year-old, you live in the energies of the mother and father. So you live in their 9-year cycles. So let's say your father has a 9th year and the mother has 1st year. So the father needs to complete things because it's the last cycle, and the mother needs to start something new, which is the 1st cycle. In this year, the family might fall apart because the father will do something which will bring the completion of the family or completion of relationship, or the father can complete one business in order to start another one. But for the mother, it looks like he's destroying something, and she with her 1st year would need to plant the seed of the new when he's not ready. And so the conflict arises, and children live in that energy up to 14. So by the age of 14, we are pretty conflicted with everything that's happening in the family, not because our family is against us or against each other. It's because everyone is different, and everyone has their own cycle through which their soul, their spirit, learn, expand, scale, communicate, create. And without understanding what's going on, it seems very incongruent. So how do you understand life when you are a young child? Your parents are always in conflict, because also depending on their 9 competencies, some of the people can resolve conflict very easily through communication, and some people need to fight and they need to win, which creates very uncomfortable situations for the children. I'm going to do a master class about relationship because this is the theme that is close to me personally. I live in a family that like to complain and fight with each other. My family, me and my husband, for many times, we also resolve our conflict with the scandal until I understood that 9 competencies for every person is different, and if I have the knowledge, the information, the ability to analyze the situation, I can find the conflict resolution much easier and without any violence and without compromise. That's what's interesting. When you understand another person, you don't need to compromise, because you understand yourself so deeply, you can fulfill your desires and dreams and your needs without anybody else. We come to relationship to fulfill each other's dreams and desires, but we come to relationship with the goal to fulfill our own. So when you see somebody and you think, oh, this person is so wonderful, but when I'm in a relationship with this person, I will change this and it will help that person. That means you are seeing in that person exactly the reflection of who you are, of what's missing or what's not competent in you, and in the mirror of that person, whether it's your husband or your boss at work or your employee, your friends or your child. You see the insufficient part in other only because you have it all by yourself as well. And so, what are those 9 competences? Competence number 1, which is also year number 1, which is also prof orientation number 1, is a strategist, is the manager. It's the person who needs the corner office with the chair. It's the person that communicates always, do it my way or highway. It's the person who always fights for being on the top. It needs its own territory. It's a king. It will fight no matter what you do unless you succumb to his demands. So if you are a different, if you don't have that competency to understand that you can do what you want and he can do what he wants, and she can do what he wants, and everybody is absolutely free to do exactly how they want it to be, and everybody is responsible for it. And if you want a corner office, you can absolutely have it. But if it's one corner office in the whole entire building, and you have the same desire, maybe that person is not the best person for you to be around, because you will trigger each other all the time. At the same time, you can step back from that competency all the way back to year 9, to competency 9, to thinking number 9, and see that the best service for the people, because 9 is about service, the best service is to serve yourself, so you don't demand anything from anybody else. And you can serve yourself through the service to other people. It's very simple. You choose what you love. You choose what gives you joy. You choose what's important for you. You do it for yourself 100%, and you share it with others 100%. If you do 5% for yourself, 95% for others, that's not an altruism, it's an egoism, because you believe that you're better than anybody else and you can suffer in order for other people to have what they want. And it doesn't work sustainably. At some point you explode, and these other people whom you served will absolutely suffer. While you are suffering all that time, this suffering is accumulating in your field, creates karma for you and for those you serve. So if you decide that you need to do it for your children, that you need to give your funds, your household, your dreams, to give up for other people, even if they're your children, then the suffering continues up to the point where the child is 14-year-old, is a teenager, is a rebel, they rebel, and you go, and I've given you all my life. And sometimes that rebel happens at 30, 40, 50, 60. At some point it does happen, because suffering is not sustainable. And competence number 2 is building relationships and sustaining relationships, not through the compromise, but through understanding what the other person is about. And through the relationships and through the year 2, you understand how to be a diplomat, how to get things done without violence or without destroying relationships, for example. Because when you destroy the relationship with one person, you destroy the relationship with the whole world. You don't know who they know. You don't know what they behave in the world. And dropping the pebble of joy in relationship creates rippling effect. Dropping the pebble of fight also creates a rippling effect, and so on. I will have a master class. I will leave a link in this podcast. It's a free master class. More deeply than I can do here on the walk. Even if you hear my broadcast from the beginning, you will understand the system in which you live. That system is not of my making. I am a master of Syucai. It's the science of structure. It doesn't give you new knowledge about anything but the structure of the universe, the structure of the earth, the structure of your business, the structure of your relationship, the structure of your body, the structure of your thinking, the structure of your actions. And when you understand the structure, you can be more orderly in your life, and you do not jump from one thing to another. For example, competency number 3 is an ability to stop, to look and analyze, to understand what's going on through analysis. This is a very important competency. Lots of us do not have it just because we are impulsive and our emotions get a hold of us, and we do things impulsively. And those impulses might lead to very strange actions, which create karma. Karma is accumulation of actions in one direction that create a consequence of your action. Even if you're inactive, it also accumulates and creates, inactivity creates consequences as well. For example, there is a tree that's got fallen from the hurricane, and it's been out for a while. And even though it's still green, if it's not put up, it will fast. Tree is, it will die if it doesn't get connected to the earth, because that relationship between its roots and the earth is necessary for its life. And what's interesting, the trees are also communicating with each other. Competency number 5, by the way, communication. And through communication, when you communicate to other people disorderly, it creates this structure. You don't have the structure. And when you understand that communication always has a goal, which is competence and number 1, priority in communication, that you will not bring thousands of different things in communication like we women like to do. For example, when we want something from our husbands, we remember 5 days ago on the start, and I told you this, and I asked you this, and you didn't do it. And by the time you get to the asking, to the real asking, please do this for me, that husband is lost. Doesn't know what you're talking about. But we also communicate like that at work, having a long-winded conversations in which it's hard to understand what is the seed of the conversation. So to be competent in communication, you need to be also competent in first 4 competences that I just talked about. Being strategic, being able to understand what the other person wants, analyze that, find the priority, and only then communicate. But every number is connected to your birthday. So depending on when you are born, some of those competences are given to you, and some of the competences you need to learn. So, for example, competency number 6 is about making things comfortable. So, people with the 6 in their birthday will communicate comfortably, and people with the 9 in their birthday will communicate aggressively, and people with the 1 in their birthday will communicate strategically, and people with the 2 in their birthday will communicate diplomatically. So as you go through the structure, you start understanding that you cannot expect diplomacy from somebody who is born on the 1st. But having that competency in yourself, you can be a diplomat. You can bring the competency another person lacks in order to be effective in your communication and to give value. 7 is about giving value. And very often we see the value through the price tag, how much it costs, and we try to buy something cheaper. But again, when we do things cheaper, we devalue the things that have been creating. What I do in life saves millions of dollars. One client of mine was going to create a business with 5 people. Everybody was giving money to the business. And they decided to start with a little bit, I think 5,000 maybe or something like that, and create a big business out of it. And when he came to my session and started explaining about every partner, and I'm pretty experienced, so I don't even need to look at the birth date. I already can hear from his description what kind of person is that. And I gave him an example of what each person is about and how they're thinking and what their actions would be and how it will end up in the business. He would not believe it. And I said, okay, those are your friends. Those are the people you know and I don't. Let's say I'm mistaken. Let's do the test. You tell them that you have a plan for the business. The plan is another investment of 15,000. It's not a big sum. Everybody has it. people who were about to enter this business. Everybody has 15,000. Tell them this and tell them the plan and tell them that it needs to be done within a week. And within a week, that business started falling apart. Not because the plan was not good and not because he did not communicate it, because he was a good communicator, but because he was not strategic. And within his business, where he was organizing investors and friends, there was another strategy. He had absolutely different story in mind. And when I explained that, and I explained how to bring the communication about the business into congruency, that person who was a strategist born in the first would not give up on anything. Because he needs his own business, he needs his own territory, and he needs his own corner office. And having 5 members of the business, 5 partners in the business would never work for him. But if I would not do it, the investments that were going to be made would go to nothing, and the business, if it would be slow, little investment, little by little, people would be not as concerned because the price tag was little. They would not be as concerned, and those problems and issues would come up after the investment already went to millions, because the business they were creating was this kind of business. And I've seen that happening in different businesses because I've been consulting businesses for many years, and it always starts with the business owner or the business partners who are in the business. And if there is no congruency, there is no alignment to one goal, there is no alignment about the price tag, this business will fall apart at some point. So when you value something, how do you value it? What are you valuing? And what is your value? I do a lot of free complimentary services because those are priceless. And I know people do not value some of the things because they don't know the value of those things. And therefore, I am willing to invest my time and my knowledge into my community, because my goal is to make the world better. My mission is 9, and my actions are about preventing bad things from happening, all the time, going to different places, seeing, learning from different people, from different cultures, from different nature habitats, and sharing what I know with the community, so you can share with other people. For example, you can share this broadcast with those who need it. And what happens then is even 1 person or 3 people who listen to this, or 25 people or 125. I see there are 500 plays, but only 3 people send me a message. So I see that 3 people value that information, and for other 500 people there are different teachers, which is totally okay with me, because what I share is priceless. And what I know is the not only the knowledge from 2 colleges and many different practitioner courses, but from who I am. I am 25, I'm born on 25, so I'm 7. And 7 is the value given not by people, but by the universe. The structure of the universe talks to me. We can say God talks to me. I have a clear channel, so I can talk hours upon hours and I can answer any question. Once I was on the radio and one of the listeners called and said, how come you're doing 25 different things? You're not, you're a writer, you're a psychologist, you are a teacher, you have a school for children, you have a school for adults, you paint and you have classes for people to paint their understanding of the world. You travel and you have groups for spiritual travel. You travel yourself all the time. You teach tango. How come you have all of it? Probably you don't know anything deep enough. To which I said, I know it's deep. How much you can take from my depths is up to you. I'm like an iceberg. What you hear is just the tip of the iceberg. But when you ask a deeply thoughtful question, meaningful question for you, you will find the answer, because I'm never talking, the universe is talking through me. So what I realized when I just freely talk, everybody gets what they need exactly in this moment of their life, and I'm not putting any price tag on it, because I value it so much that I learn from it. When I listen to my broadcast, I learn from it as well. Just like my YouTube channel, I have a YouTube channel, Svetlana Pritzker. You can go find it. My Amazon has books for children and adults. On YouTube, I've talked a lot about energy, movements through your body, creating different outcomes in your life. And so if you are on my wavelength, if what I say is valuable to you, there is a lot of free complementary materials that you can learn from. But there are many teachers. I'm not pretending to be the one and the best for everybody, but I am for those who resonate with me. And what's the most important thing is not to miss your teacher, because your teacher could be your husband, your child, your neighbor, your friend from the Facebook, because the teaching does not happen between people. The teaching is happening between you and universe, that is you, between you and the vibration of creation, that is you, between the spark, which is your soul, that needs to be sparked every morning, every day. After you fall asleep, you come back and it's a new day and it's a new life. And your soul needs the support if it doesn't feel optimal. And maybe that support that I'm giving you at this moment is exactly what you've been looking for. And if it's not, find somebody else, or find your personal communication. Open your own channel to the wisdom of the universe, because it's talking to you all the time through the symbols, through the cars, moving through the words you read, through the cereal you eat, even on TV. My TV has this Life is Good logo, which is absolutely inspiring when I occasionally watch TV. And look at that. Interior pest control. Okay? That's the message. Inside us, there is God messages and pest messages. And those ugly bugs that we get, just like a computer. This one is actually very cute. But we do get ugly bugs from media, from people who criticize us, from teachers, preachers, parents. Sometimes we do it by ourselves, to ourselves, and we seed our consciousness with ugly bugs. And it's time to clear it, to upgrade your consciousness. We try to downgrade. We try to be convenient for people. We try to be convenient for our employers. But being convenient for somebody else is a competence, and you need to know how to do it without destroying yourself. Why? Because if this is not the case, and you're making convenience for others, you end up like that. Halloween time. Hollow means empty. You don't want to be empty. You want to be fulfilled with joy of life, with happiness, with life that gives you lemons, and you can make the lemonade. Look at that picture. Usually see a wall protecting yourself, but this one is standing freely, open to the sunlight, and deciding its life for itself. I don't need to be hiding all the time. And look at this. Jeep Sahara. You would think it's a very harsh vehicle going through the deserts of life, but look at this. Look at the ducks. The ducks are shining right there. And that person finds the happiness even in Sahara, even in the harsh conditions. And your body is a vehicle of life. And inside that vehicle, the driver should be a soul, not just your mind, because your mind is seeded with ugly bugs. Throughout your life, you get more and more of them. So I suggest you run antivirus program in your mind, which creates a clean slate for you to start something new, something different. And listen to the yesterday's broadcast, because it has the calculation for your personal year. And understanding your personal year will give you the strategy of this year, because this year is almost over. If you did not know what you're doing or you feel unsatisfied, you have 3 months to complete that year strategically, diplomatically, with the analysis, with the goal-oriented life, doing sequential communication, sequential actions to get you to your goal, making life comfortable for yourself and others, valuing this, and working when you're working in a way that creates the result that you want. So in the 9 competency, you can be priceless and strategic. Oh, I'm standing on somebody's driveway. Priceless and strategic in your service to the world. At the same time, being uncompromisingly brave and unstoppable. Brave and unstoppable. This is the mark of the day. Brave and unstoppable. When you're brave enough to start something new, I am here for you to help. And I will leave the link in my broadcast where you can join the chat in Russian or in English, in both languages. One channel, one communication, one set of classes is done in Russian. The other set of classes is done in English. There are free strategic sessions and free broadcasts and everything else that you can find there. Join, and we will continue walk and talk. Have an amazing day. I love you, just because your soul and my soul are here to communicate. We would not be meeting if it wouldn't be so. Much love. Bye.